I think everybody's path is different. I think you got to think what's best for yourself. Because you're going to have people say, do this, do this, do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it. And then you're like, I wasted 2 years and I don't even like it. Or this is not what I wanted. So I think you just got to think what's best for you. So I think it's respecting like yourself. I think it's respect yourself that you know what you're going to do is best.
Welcome to the Just a Decision podcast, where we speak to our guests about the decisions they made in life, the good, the bad, the regrets, the decisions they're currently making, and the decisions they're going to make for the future. Subscribe, like, comment on the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And remember, we're available on all streaming platforms. Today, I have a special guest. I feel everybody needs a guest like today in their life, Mr. Joel Rolon. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm so excited. Happy to be here.
Cool. How was that Tyson fight last night we watched?
I'm a little sad I stayed up for it, but I'm happy to be here, energized, and just ready to have a conversation.
I appreciate you taking at the time because I know you're a family man.
Yes, sir.
Busy lifestyle. We always start with 2 questions. First question, what's your favorite dish, like food, and where from?
I would say, it's mass stereotypical, but rice and beans.
Okay.
Some chicken and some potato salad, and pretty much from Wella's house. Like, I think it's just the best dish when it's homemade, made with love.
Okay.
And then you also have family with this, so I think that's something you can never go wrong with.
Cool. Like I said, he's a family man. Second question, someone gave you a blank check, whatever number you write on it, it's cash in tomorrow. What's the first thing you spend it on?
I got to go with the cliche. I got to buy my family a house, try to retire my parents so they don't have to work no more.
Okay.
It's kind of like give back for all they did for me, so might as well just like
that's
just
the
relax.
Consensus. Most people, so far, they rather spend it on family or others, not themselves.
Yeah, you got to give back to your parents. They raised you, so it's the only way you could do it. Let them relax.
I guess I'm picking the right people to be on the podcast.
Yeah,
Until
exactly.
I get that one person. I need a Bentley. And I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. So let's start from your earliest memories. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania, baby.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Most of the people were from Jersey. How was it growing up in Reading?
It was cool. I mean, Reading is it's a small city, about 45 minutes from Philly. So all my family's there. So mostly Latino. So you grew up with those. It was Latino and Black. So my school was all Latino and Black. So
okay.
I think it was just a good upbringing to be there, raised there. I had my whole life there until I went to college.
Cool. When you said I'm buying a house for my family, how big is your family?
So I have obviously mother and father, thankful for that. And then I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
So I will probably, if I can, depending on how that check is, everybody gets a house.
Oh, man, you can write whatever number you
want on it.
And I
would love to be close, like have a little community where we have our kids together and raise them together.
Nice. Like a cul-de-sac or something. Like cul-de-sac. Everybody gets their own house, so if you get tired.
Yeah, I'm trying to have some chickens and just raise them that way. And just like go that simple life if I could,
Sounds good. When you said the 3 siblings, you the oldest, youngest, middle?
The youngest of 4, yeah.
Okay. What's one of the earliest decisions you think you can remember with family? So, like your mom saying, don't watch TV after a certain time, or you got to eat your dinner before dessert and you snuck that cookie or cake?
I think I was thinking about food.
Okay, hey, it's not
so
wrong
my
with
mom
that.
I didn't like white rice back then.
Okay.
Growing up, so obviously when your parents, at least for how we were raised, you ate what was on the table. Yeah. So mom would mix ketchup on it to make it, and because I would cry one yellow rice.
Yeah.
So she would mix ketchup in it, and there goes yellow rice, reddish rice, and I'll have to eat it or I starve. So
yeah. So do you still like ketchup on your rice?
Nah, now I like white rice.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh wow.
So yeah, that was kind of like a memory. Just I always stuck in my head. My mom was just like you. It's like a gratitude thing too.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking she's being mean, but really it's just like be grateful for what's on your table.
That's cool. What was elementary school, Joel, like? Because like you said you had 2 older siblings, so like
3.
Oh, 3. So they had so it's out of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So they set the tone in different ways, but what was elementary school, Joel, like?
Yeah, I think being the youngest, you get a big advantage. You see your siblings, how they navigate the world. They're also like second parents in a way, guiding you. So elementary, I mean, I was going back there. I was just a shy little kid, timid. First kiss at 4th grade. But elementary, I was very quiet, very shy, very timid. But I was behavior-wise, because we grew up like, you represent the family, so you do well behavior-wise. So that was something I was like, always listen to teachers, respect the elders, things like that. Academically, I was okay, but it was more like the respect in the classroom what my parents focus on.
Cool. Was your mom and dad raised in Reading too?
My mom was born in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, and my dad was born in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So they eventually moved to Reading. That's where they met in Reading. They both came to Reading. They met.
Nice.
And that's how we were born.
So you got like legacy of the Rolons and Reading. Cool. Preteen, almost into high school. What was that, Joel, like?
Like middle school?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's when you're going through puberty. I think middle school is tough. I mean, well, I guess we'll talk about like being a teacher, but it's a tough time because you're navigating, you're going through puberty, you're trying to figure yourself out.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're gonna be the cool guy, the nerd, this jock, So I think middle school is a tough time, especially now you're seeing a lot. So middle school is tough, but in middle school, that's when I joined sports, play basketball.
Nice.
So I think, joining sports helps kind of get that community, being around other men.
Yeah, the camaraderie.
Having that fun discipline, things like that. I had the father and all that, but I think being in sports is like a really good way to kind of like see the world, meet other people with different personalities, but also you're on the same mission.
Yeah.
Kind of carry that with you as you go.
To win.
Yeah, to win in life and sports.
Yeah. Did your older siblings play sports?
Yeah, my brothers both did baseball and boxing.
Okay.
So we're a boxing family. I did a little boxing when I was younger too.
Nice.
So that's why we watch boxing so much. So boxing was a big thing that kind of brought the family together growing up. So I thought that was pretty cool. Boxing and wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't wrestle, but watching wrestling.
Yeah. Like the sport or like WWE?
WWE.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold,
I don't see no cauliflower.
Nah. No, none of that.
Cool. Was your dad involved in the sports or was it like a sibling thing?
Yeah, that's why I'm grateful for my dad. He put us in sports and like with baseball, he used to coach baseball, things like that, boxing. So he's very like, nah, you got to do a sport. And I think like when I have kids, when I have 2 kids now, so I want to put them in sports because I just realized how helpful that was.
Yeah.
So you have a dad, but also like being in sports, you just learn a lot of discipline about yourself, perseverance. So I think my dad kind of did a good job of like putting us in sports and kind of like letting us fail too.
Yeah.
He didn't coddle at all. So I think he was good with just putting us in there. Well, boxing too, I recommend anybody I always recommend boxing, not to fight like professionally, but I think boxing, one, self-defense, and one, just like learning how to, it's like you against yourself most of the time, training and sparring in the mirror by yourself. So I think that was a good thing that my dad did for all of us. I think it helped us like navigate life.
Cool. One thing, like if I could go backtrack in the beginning conversation, I feel everybody should have a Joel in their life because the conversations we have, there's like, there's no bias. It's, I'm gonna say how I feel, and there's no grudges. It's not like I'm gonna unfollow you because you voted for this person.
Exactly.
So when you say sport, your dad got you in sports, it's like we're an obese country, they say.
Yeah.
So it's like, where did this lack of putting kids in sports or doing something active, where now we're considered an obese country and out of shape kids and no one works out. So it's cool that your dad kept that. You got at least he said at least do one sport.
Yeah, at least the ones. He didn't put me in baseball. I was horrible in baseball. Okay. He told me, my dad was very front. So you suck.
What was your position?
I was a right fielder. That's what they put everybody was bad, right fielder. Okay. But I was scared of the ball. But I'm glad like I got to experience that. Cause, he told me straight up like, you're not good at it.
Hey.
But at least I did it, That's why I think he wanted me, like, just try something. If you're not good at it, if you don't like it, it's cool, but you got to do something.
Yeah.
You got to try it.
I think some adults need to be told,
exactly.
you're not good at it.
Yeah, you're not good at things.
Like,
or just try it.
Yeah.
Like, stop being scared. Decision, we talked about, like, stop being scared, just do it.
Yeah.
You fail, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's like also a common conversation when it took me forever to launch this podcast. So it was like, I need this and I need that.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, all you need is a phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm like,
and you build it from there.
I need to do this and I need that. So there was more of I guess being indecisive.
Exactly.
So that's where the word decide came about, making decisions. So now we're on episode, I don't know episode, but it's cool to see everything's fall into place once you start making decisions and not being scared of them.
The hardest thing is to jump.
Yeah. That jump.
You don't know where you're going to land, but you got to jump.
And then you start, things just start connecting. Like, meeting Lamar behind the camera and the audio and watching his creativity come about. And being excited for what's next. So that
you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, and that jump is like, what was you scared for that jump about?
Exactly. When you look back, you're like, I should have been jumped. Yeah, I could have jumped farther or higher.
Yeah,
but I think people are just scared to take a jump because the unexpected, the unknown.
Exactly.
And we want to know everything, but that's not life.
Yeah,
life is unpredictable.
Cool. Can you recall a time where you knew what you wanted to do when you got older? As career-wise or...
Yeah, I think in like high school, early high school, that's when everybody's trying to figure out careers. Like ninth grade, I bombed. Like I was just playing around, joking around. But I think in like 10th grade, I was like, I know I want to be in a service-based industry.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be in a purposeful industry. And education was like something that would have stuck out. Like looking back, like damn, like I was privileged to have brothers and sister and a dad and mom. So I always thought like, damn, if I could be that for somebody else that doesn't have that, be that guy, be that mentor, be that educator. So that kind of like was what stuck with me. And then I just went with the education.
Nice. So that leads us to today. We're good to today, but that's cool that you knew your trajectory.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes, the guest talked about racing horses, how they have those blinders on.
Exactly.
And it's like, you know your target. You're not looking left. You're not looking right. That's the target, and that's all aiming for.
And I know I want to do it, but like I didn't know if I wanted to go to college.
Okay.
Again, my parents are the ones like, you're going to college because, you know, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, voluntold.
And my dad was, I'll do whatever it takes to get you there. Mom said the same thing. So to have that is like, you can't let them down. So it's like, this is what I want to do. But I knew I wanted to be in education. So it's like, all right, let me get my grades up. Let me do what I got to do. That way by 12th grade, like I'm going to a college and be able to be enrolled in it.
Nice. Did those sports follow into high school or?
Yeah, I played a little basketball in high school too. Yeah.
Cool. Did you work in high school?
I worked at Lowe's like my senior year.
Okay, the home improvement store?
Yeah.
Okay,
I worked in the flooring department. Didn't know anything about flooring. But it was cool because I was making, I remember, $10.55 an hour, and I thought I was balling. I don't need college. Mom, I'm moving you out. But so I was like, I really liked it because I was making money for the first time, providing for myself, being able to buy those things. So it was really cool to have that like independency. Nice. So kind of like once I got my first job, I was like always wanted to be independent, just build for myself.
Cool. So we get to graduation, high school graduation. What was that process like of, like you said, if you didn't want to go to college, but your parents said, no, you're going to college. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like I had close friends, but like I was the only one trajectory to go to college.
Okay.
So it's like I see everybody like around me, like I like playing basketball with you, but you're making different decisions that I know it's not going to be good for me in the long run.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like either this direction or this direction. I was like, all right, let me get my stuff together because I'm like thinking long term, like, all right, I don't want to be like that. It sucks to see, you know, your friends, your family go through those things, but I think going to college is the best thing. Going away for college too. I purposely did 2 hours away from my home because I think I needed that to be away, to be uncomfortable, and I think it benefited me in the long run.
Okay. So it was still in PA?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
Shippensburg University.
Okay.
Ship is it.
So was that your only choice or?
I had 3.
Okay.
All in Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
That I got accepted to, but I felt like Shippensburg, the education department was good. And also it was 2 hours away. So it was like close enough where I could be home if I need to, but also far enough where like I got to be there and get accustomed to it.
Yeah. Like you said before, finding your own identity.
Yeah, exactly. Which I did over there.
Cool. What was freshman year like? Because being 2 hours away, it's not like you just drive home. You could drive home, but you're like, do I want to drive home? You think about gas money or taking the bus.
My freshman year, I went home a lot.
Okay.
And my dad would drive. I didn't have a car. So my dad would drive 2 hours, pick me up, bring me back home for the weekend, drive back Sunday. So it was like, and I had a girlfriend back home. So stuff like that. But my freshman year was an adjustment. So in high school, like, I don't know how your high school was, but
my high school was small. I went to school with 45 people.
You could pass and not do anything.
Oh, I went to school with 45 people.
Dang, okay.
So, like, you had to do work. Like, it's not like...
My graduating class like 750.
Sheesh.
So, in high school, like, as long as you weren't a behavior problem, you were going to pass.
Okay.
So, I didn't study in high school and all that. So, when I went to college, I got my first D, my first semester. I never forget going home and I kind of sensed that. I showed my mom, like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
And, like, she had, like, look down, like, maybe it was... I felt like maybe he wasn't good enough to go to college. So that was like a wake-up call, like, nah, I can't let you down, you know? Yeah. I hate failing. Gotcha. So I think that was a wake-up call at first. I never looked back from there. I never had anything lower than a C after that. So that was like a first wake-up call in freshman year, like, all right, I got to study, like, because you look around other people, again, like, you're comparing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
There's dudes that were, like, partying every night and still getting A's. I wasn't that guy. So I had to accept that, like, no, I got to be the one to study a little bit more. But that's life. Like, everybody has a different way to navigate life and how to be successful.
Yeah.
So it's your path. My path was like, I gotta be more focused. So after that, it was like a wake-up call for me. Freshman year was like a wake-up call.
Did any of your older siblings go to college?
Now I was the only one. So I'm first generation, yeah.
Cool. What do you think your parents, I guess, focus on you going to college? Like, did they have that same focus on the older three?
I think after like 3 you kind of learn.
Yeah, okay.
But like they all had their different paths. It's just like I think I was the one like they knew like was going to college. I had that characteristics. I had that drive. So they had drives in other things.
Got you.
So with that, and all of them were like encouraging me to go to college. So I was like, it's fortunate to be the youngest because you have all those people guiding you. Like, yo, don't make that mistake from one brother. Don't do this from another brother. Don't get that girl from another. Like, So I think after a while, it's like, no, everybody's encouraging me. So it's like, not pressure, but it was like encouragement to go to college. And I was like, I got more to focus on.
Yeah,
it's bigger than me.
Well, I'm glad Mama and Papa Rolon sent you to college because that's where our paths crossed.
For sure.
With Psi Sigma Phi Multicultural Fraternity Incorporated.
Yes, sir.
What chapter did you pledge for?
The La Cipher Lambda chapter.
Fall
2010.
Yeah, we should. A good plus of college is partying, and that was one of the craziest parties I've ever been to. Coming from Jersey, driving all the way out to Ship, it was worth it. The drive was worth it. So besides the social aspects of college, did you work during college?
Yeah, I worked in the phone-a-thon, the people that call for donations.
Okay.
So you're just calling for people like alumni to give you donations. Okay. So that was like something I just worked on, just have money on in college. Because obviously college, everybody's put it in for food, ramen, whatever you got to do without the meal plan. But that was the only job I really held throughout the whole time.
How often were you working that job? They calling people all the time?
Yeah, like every night.
Wow.
I think I was working like three nights a week.
Okay. What was the hours?
It was like an even like 5 to 7, 5 to 8.
Oh, okay.
I was making like $100-something bucks for a check, But it was cool. But you also meet different people. But I don't like ask people for money, so it's like a weird thing. So it's just like you don't donate. Said
yes.
A good amount.
Wow.
If you got like anything, you get like incentives for it.
Okay.
So I was like, sir, $5 will take you a long way. So any incentives you get like little bonuses here and there from that time. So it was cool.
Shout out to the alumni that still
now I donate. They call me, I donate like $5 just because I know that person calling, they're gonna get a little incentive from it. So.
Nice. You ever have a conversation with like, yo, I used to do that job?
Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta go. Yeah.
Any decisions that you could go back on during college and be like, I wish I could have tweaked that or went a different route, or made a different decision of like, I should have went to this school and rather than Ship.
Yeah, I'm happy with the school. I think everything, the people I met, I think everything happened for a reason there. I would like to have been involved a little bit more earlier on. Mm-hmm. I didn't get involved. Like I didn't pledge till I was a senior.
Okay.
So like just waiting, just kind of like being on my own, having friends, things like that. But I wish I would have got more involved because I didn't get involved till later. Like I was a president of Latino organization, did a lot of things. So I feel like in that 4 years I could do so much more instead of that 1 or 2 years I was there.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest regret that I had with college.
Yeah. The two things if I go back in college and like redo is I wish I would have did study abroad.
Yeah.
I heard study abroad. If you chose the right place, it was amazing.
That's a good one.
Pick a gen ed class and then you was set.
Yep.
I had a couple people go to Costa Rica and they said that was a good one. And then the second one is I almost say jammed up my freshman year, but I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I wish I became RA.
RA?
Yeah. Just to have that leadership skills of
and the free housing.
Yeah, free housing. You get the meal plan.
Yeah.
But it's just I didn't want to get people in trouble, and I feel like people are always getting in trouble.
Because you're like the same level age too, so.
And I was still in the social part of school. Like I keep saying this on the podcast. I almost took 6 years to get a 4-year degree. Like I like school that much. But those are the two things I wish I could redid. Let's get into like start senior year of college, mapping out your career. What were you thinking about? Because they don't tell you this, but when you blink and you're at graduation.
Yeah.
And you're like, my dad said that my freshman year of high school and my freshman year of college. He's like, yo, you're going to blink and it's over. And it's like right now, we're 33, 34. And I was like, dude, it felt like yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
you were in college.
21 getting my ID to like, oh, Mr. Bouncer, here, let me, I'm good to drink.
I think for that, it was, that's a hard transition going from college to adulthood.
Yes.
Because college, like, I'm like, if you stay in college, as long as you can do it.
Yeah.
It's the one place, most diverse place, and the one place you don't have to worry as much. The only thing I worry about is the test.
Yep.
And most of them are just like easy tests.
Yeah.
But like life is a different test.
Yeah. The papers might be a little tedious.
Yeah, exactly.
What's it called? MLA format and all these formats. But that's
it. And you complain about that, and then looking back, I was like, dang.
Yeah. Like so all you had to worry about was going to class.
Yeah,
Other
going to class.
That, it was...
You don't have to dress that way. You just go to class, wake up 5 minutes before class, show up.
Party almost every day. Different groups of friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very unstressful. Rather, if you didn't have to worry about the finances.
Yeah.
Some people like I didn't have to, but I worked 3 jobs because spring break, and I was like, yo, I wanted to go to Miami with spring break, and I didn't want to stay home.
Yeah, I was home. I was the guy at home.
That's cool. So, graduation comes. What's your first job after college?
So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm a Latino. I'm a male. I'm gonna get a job right away. Didn't work that way. So I was a long-term sub. So it was like a sub for someone that's out for maternity leave.
Okay.
So I was there in Chambersburg, which is like 15 minutes from Shippensburg. So I ended up staying a year after college in that area. And I did 4th grade math and science for like a year. So it was a great experience. At least I got, compensation and things like that. So, and it was the first time living alone. Got my first apartment.
Nice.
$500 rent.
Ooh, $500.
Yeah, you can have that anymore.
What was your degree in?
Elementary education.
Okay. So with that degree, do you get is it a broad, you get a little bit of math, a little bit of science? Or?
Yeah, well, elementary K to 6, I was certified for any subject.
Okay.
So some people get extra like certifications for middle school, but K to 6, I could teach any subject. But I always like the upper elementary, like 4th and 5th grade.
Okay.
So yeah, I taught for a year, and it was a good experience. You got to kind of get I was horrible student teacher.
Okay.
I had to do student teaching first for a semester.
Got you.
I was bad, but it's growth,
Did you have a good, I guess, lead teacher or whatever?
Yeah, we had a good mentor.
Okay.
But I was just not good with speaking in front of people or connecting with the kids.
The curriculum, that
curriculum,
4.5.6.
Exactly.
And you're like,
yeah.
What?
You're focused on all those things when really it's just being yourself, connecting with the students. So I bombed student teaching. Then once little by little I got a little better with long-term subs. So that was cool.
Okay. And PA, do you have to take the praxis?
Yeah.
Okay. So
fortunately I passed it the first time, yeah.
Oh, you passed it on the first time? Yeah. It's rare that I hear someone say.
I know people that took 3-4 times. You got to pay for it each time too.
Yeah. And then the praxis too is a little bit easier because I did phys ed. So I was that person that it took and
you got to maintain 3.0 in college. That's the minimum GPA, so it's a lot of parameters with that.
Yeah, they don't tell you that when you get to junior and senior year. You don't just get a degree and teach. You gotta qualify to be the teacher.
Qualify for all that.
Yeah. How many months of long term? It
was a full school year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then after that, I was offered a position. The principal offered me a position. She liked how I was teaching, but I was like, I can't be in this area Shippensburg anymore. So that's when I ended up moving back home.
Nice. What is the area like? Is it inner city, suburban?
Straight suburban, country? Yeah, cows.
Okay. Wow.
Best thing to do is go to Walmart or party on campus. So if you're not on campus, it just wasn't for me. I was away from everybody home.
Wow.
4 years, college is cool, we got friends, but after that, when everybody's in the real world lives and everybody's going back to where they're from, it's kind of all right, this is not where I see myself, so let me make that move.
Okay. What was the next move?
So it was hard because I turned down a full-time position. Again, thinking I was going to I applied to so many jobs.
And all teaching jobs?
All teaching jobs, yeah. And I had to be a substitute because I just wasn't getting anything.
Wow.
So I was a substitute in a suburban school for a little bit.
Okay.
So it was just spend time with that and just kind of live with my dad, just doing what I could to get some experience as best as possible.
Cool. So how long were you doing that before your next official job came about?
A year.
Okay.
A year when I did a substitute teaching, just grinding, looking for jobs over and over.
Yeah, I also think that talking to everybody and the guests, it takes time to figure out, you know what you want to do, but it takes time to get that placement of exactly how you worded it, where you feel comfortable and you enjoy the job, because no one wants to do something 30 years and you're like, I'm miserable.
Yeah. And I was interviewing so many places, I just wasn't getting it. But I think I was a horrible interviewer.
Okay.
So it's looking back, I was I didn't answer the questions the way, now as a teacher, being have experience, I know how I should have answered.
Okay.
Or I wasn't presenting myself a certain way. I was like, man, they don't like me. It's because of this. I wasn't a good interviewer.
Gotcha.
I didn't wow anyone. I didn't say anything specific. And I also didn't have much experience too. So I think that was something that kind of hurt me.
Cool. So where did you end up next getting teaching?
So that's when I moved to Jersey and I got a job in Trenton at a charter school.
Nice.
That was a great experience. It was crazy because we were struggling because I was just substitute teaching. My dad was struggling. So I was like, yo, we got to figure out what we're doing next.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget this. So the day that we were struggling with paying rent. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we got an eviction notice.
Oh, man.
For the apartment. The day you got the eviction notice, school called, I got the job.
Wow.
The same day, I was like, yeah, God is good.
Yeah.
So that sounds like, all right. Because my dad was like, I'm going to move with like other people, but like, obviously not going to leave me alone type of thing. So I was like, all right, I'm moving to Jersey. He was like, cool, I'm moving this way. So it kind of worked out because it was like, that was a tough time.
Well, I'm glad you pushed through.
Yeah.
Again, with the podcast, I want it to be our unofficial slogan is a regular podcast for regular people. What was that feeling of not knowing what's going to happen next? Because I've never got an eviction notice because I've been fortunate with my mom and dad and everything. But how did that feel?
It sucks because you're like, damn, like, we're all working hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to figure out life, and I'm applying. I'm not like I'm just sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But I think once you get it, I think you appreciate a lot more too. So I think that was the thing. Like, it was like suck, but then once I got that call, I think it appreciated more than what most people would have in that call.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how was that transition of PA to New Jersey?
Jersey expensive. I moved here. I moved to out little central Jersey.
Okay.
So about 30 minutes from my job. Found a place that had like free security deposit, no security deposit, free 2 months. So I was like, because I wasn't able to afford it.
Yeah.
I got hired, and then like to pay for like rent. Luckily, the charter school was like, hey, we need help like painting the school before the school year starts.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll take extra money.
Nice.
So I was painting the school without even working there.
Okay.
Just painting and grinding, trying to get extra money before the school year starts. So it was cool to have that experience too. Like,
nice.
It's a humbling experience too.
Cool. So was it staff that they asked for volunteers, or was it?
It was like staff, anyone. I was like, yo,
okay.
like I'm starting in August to teach, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So like I'll work and paint the school, do what you gotta do. So it's cool. I'm painting the school that I'm gonna eventually teach the students in.
Cool. So how was that first year of being at a charter school?
It was tough. Like, that charter school was a very urban school district, but that was the most rewarding, I think, experience as far as career wise I had.
Okay.
Because we had students the charter school is a public charter school, so it's a lottery system.
Okay.
So parents are applying to the school because the reputation is good, the rigor is good. When you're in an urban, poverty-stricken environment, you don't have many choice of good schools. So with that school, it's a really good school. Like, they're rigorous, their results were showing. And I think it was cool because you had students that were kicked out of other schools or failing other schools come to our school and then come to that school and succeed.
Thrive.
So it's like, not the kid, it's what are you surrounding them? Yeah. What are the expectation you're putting them for? So with that, I think my first year, I was like a co-teacher, so 2 people in the classroom.
Okay.
So I had a good
that's
co-teacher.
Cool. How many students were you teaching?
Like 28 around there.
Okay.
So that we had a tough class, but like, that was my favorite class I ever had. The tougher, the better.
Yeah.
I had students I'll never forget, and it was just rewarding to hear parents at the end of the school year talking about how their kids changed the kids' lives. You have a lot of kids without father figures, so to hear like positive male role model, that was like, all right, this is what I want to do, like, and this is something purposeful that I'm doing. So it was dope.
Cool. How long were you at that?
I was there for 3 years.
Okay.
So I was there for about 3 years, and then I was like, all right. I knew when it was time to move on. I never want to be that person just miserable at work.
Yeah.
Talking about, I can't wait to leave this place and never leaves. So I wasn't miserable, but I was like, I knew it was time for the next step. Plus, I was like, I didn't really care for Central Jersey like that. I wanted to move to North Jersey. That's where my wife was from. So I liked North Jersey from there. So I took that leap. I actually like resigned before I had another job in place.
Wow. Talking about going all in.
Yeah, going all in. So I applied, but I knew how to experience. I was confident. Like, I know how to interview. I had this great school that has so much experience with, I could present with. So I just resigned before even knowing. Then I got a job when I was in AC, hungover the next day. Got a call from the school in Newark.
Okay.
I got the job offer for 4th and 5th grade. 5th grade.
Nice. Was there any lessons teaching those 3 years that you learned that wasn't about education? More of like the relationships with the students?
Yeah, I realized, like, and people might not agree, but I don't think there's any bad kids. There's just kids with a lot of bad circumstances.
Gotcha.
So a lot of kids are just like, they want structure. Much as they don't, they want structure. They want somebody to guide. They want someone to tell them no, things like that. And I think in that school, I learned like how purposeful and impactful I could be as an educator. And beyond that, I was going to kids' games after school, like doing those things. I just naturally enjoyed it.
Yeah. And
like to see their faces when you're like showing up. Mr. Rolon's there with a fitted on a Saturday morning with a hoodie on, but showing up, showing love to your game because I'm like, you're playing a sport. Is this something you take seriously? I want to support it.
Nice.
And it was crazy. I had one kid that was, I went to his games, and then now he's in high school. I went to one of his games years later.
Wow.
He's a star. So it was cool to see that, just the growth within the year too.
Yeah. I say as long as you impact at least one person in this lifetime,
exactly.
It's like, all right.
Because teaching's tough.
I bet.
Like I work in higher education, teaching's way tougher.
Yeah, and then you said it was the first year of the school district, so it's not like you can go to another teacher and
exactly,
be like, "Yo, what helps him focus?" Or like everybody's learning.
So I was the first fourth grade teacher they had at that school because charter schools they started growing. They started middle school and they were growing each year.
Okay.
So I was the first fourth grade cohort of teachers that were there. So it's like the first group. So yeah, you're kind of fresh. But it was cool because you got a lot of like skills. I was doing like extra activities. I did a college prep night where I brought like fraternities, sororities to stroll, and the kids were like dancing and seeing that. I did like a workshop for like how to like access college where we had different people doing workshops. So different things like that. It was cool because they gave me like that leniency to kind of bring those new initiatives there. And some of them they still do it now.
Okay.
Really cool.
When you say cohort, so like what was the different backgrounds of the teachers applying for this job? Because you coming all the way from ship or did you go?
I was from Reading substituting. Yeah.
Okay. So coming from all the way there, is it like, are those cohorts local or they're from all over?
Most of them were local. They were like either public going to charter or others working charter or some people taking a non-traditional route. They didn't go to school for education.
Oh, wow.
But they wanted to teach now. So they're like Teach for America.
Oh, okay.
Or things like that. So my first year, we had a good squad of like teachers.
Nice.
It's like when you're in the trenches together.
Yeah.
You're all working together trying to figure it out. Like you kind of build a bond. So I still have a lot of friends from that school today because you just build that bond with each other. That was one of the best groups of teachers I've ever been around.
That's cool. So you could say like your foundation was built in that environment.
Exactly.
Awesome. You said your wife.
Yeah. Boo thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Millie.
Yeah, Millie Mills.
Where'd you meet or how'd you meet Millie?
So we went to a mutual friend. She's in a sorority. I'm in a fraternity.
Okay.
And it was crazy. I was in Shippensburg. She was in Jersey, so it's a 3.5 hour distance.
Wow.
But the mutual friends say, I think you guys would be good together. And that's how I was trying to holler at everybody. So I was like, anybody takes it. But I was just like flirting with everybody, you're in college time.
Yeah.
And then she was like different. I was like, oh, okay. So it just led from one thing to another. I drove 3.5 hours, paid all the damn tolls. And then one thing led to another. And just like, again, like taking that leap, I was like, what I got to lose? $40 in gas?
Yeah.
The top was a lot. But take gas and meet somebody that you think you're connected with. Like, I think people are scared to do those things. It was like 3.5 hour ride. I did it. And look what happened.
Nice.
12 years later.
What's marriage like? Or you could say the wedding.
Yeah, the wedding was dope. I think weddings are cool because the one time besides your funeral that you have everybody together to celebrate you, all your loved ones, all your friends. So our wedding was dope. But and the thing about decisions, I remember our vows, like what I said is just like how every decision pretty much has to align to meet the certain person.
Yeah.
So you got to think like, even how we met, like we have to go to the college I chose and the fraternity I joined, like it all had to align to meet. So even with marriage, you think about that, like her parents had to move from DR to come to Jersey, and then my parents had to move from Puerto Rico to come to PA, and then I had to go to school PA, and then she had to join a sorority. All that had to align to kind of help us meet. So that's why, like, when you meet somebody, like, purposeful, when you meet a good friend, like, don't lose connection with them. Like, don't lose it over silly things because all those things had to align to, like, for it to be, like, to come alive. Yeah. I think people don't understand that, like, the fate, whatever you believe it is, to have all those decisions kind of like every decision before you and the decision after you kind of comes together to meet those people. I think like people have to understand that. Like, don't take anybody for granted.
One thing I keep saying, like before I started the podcast, it was things don't happen when you want them to happen. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. Yeah. And that aligns with the decisions because you might not see it, but this happens and that happens. And now you're like, I didn't expect this.
And in the moment, you're like, oh, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
And then it all works out.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool how like every decision before us had to be right. Yeah. For all this to align. For me to be sitting here had to align right. Yeah. So I think that's pretty dope.
Appreciate you sharing that with us.
No problem.
Cool. I feel like finding a partner is an important aspect of your life because it's not like you can't just focus on you. It's like we focus on we. So I don't know if you want to get into it. What are some qualities you think someone listening should look for when they're looking for that partner to be like, this is the one?
Yeah. I think I can speak for like looking for a wife. Yeah. But I think you want somebody that, if you plan on having kids, could be a good mother to your kids. And I think you want somebody that can support and nurture you. Like you want to come home to peace.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Someone that brings peace and someone that can support you, build you better than what you are.
Cool.
Like I feel like when people say like when men meet women, they don't want her to change. Women want their men to change. They want them to be better. So I feel like with Millie, I've got a lot better over the years in every aspect. She helped my career, as a father, as a husband, as a brother, as a friend. Like she built you up. So I think like if you have a partner like that, now everything's like you want everything right away, instant gratification right away. Like, oh, this person didn't message me back, so I don't want to talk to them anymore. So it's weird now because unfollow, like block them, leave them on red. So I think now it's like people are like scared to like trip up, and it's like that's life. Like you're meeting someone, a different person, different experiences, different gender.
Yeah,
like they're all got a different perspective of life. So it's not gonna be a fairy tale. And I think people don't realize that you got to work for things. And I think we're shying away from that. And I think that's why we're seeing so many people struggle, like finding someone.
Yeah.
Because everyone's looking for perfection.
Yeah.
And you're imperfect. How you going to look for perfection? You're imperfect.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
To me, I was like, I'm going to be a bachelor my whole life. But then I get around like you and Millie. I'm like, should I try? But then it's like, I'm not around them all the time.
If you have a partner and you have someone that's like, you feel like connected with, it's the best thing, I think.
Cool. Well, shout out to Millie. And then shout out to the newborn.
Yeah.
And your son. How's being a dad?
Man, I think it's the best.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, I think it's hard. It's just tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, wake up when they wake up. You know, like your plans change based on if they're sick. Like he's gotten sick almost every vacation we've been on.
Wow.
So it's like adapting to that. But it's cool, man. I think fatherhood is dope. I think every man needs a purpose. I think kids are the greatest purpose. So it's like, because you're creating something that lasts beyond when you're gone.
Yeah.
So I think men need purpose to just have a good life. You have purpose, and I think kids are one of whether it's your job as purpose, you got to do a purposeful job.
Yeah.
A partner has to be purposeful, but I think kids are the most purposeful things because you're watching them grow. You don't want them to grow, but you're watching them grow and develop. You're raising a human to be the next generation. I think it's crazy to think that like this person came from my balls and watch like delivery is crazy.
Yeah.
Like birth is the craziest, beautiful thing ever. But to see that like now he's 3 years old.
Yeah.
My daughter's already 2 months. So to see that is dope, man.
Yeah, and he's smart, man.
He's smart,
just last night, he was like, A for apple.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like,
dinosaurs,
yeah.
Triceratops. Yeah. It's cool to see that because like you want to do the best for your kid. And your kids, like, they're a mixture of you and your wife, right? So it's like, I'm trying to figure out him too because I grew up a certain way. She grew up a certain way. Like, I always say, like, she grew up like Full House family. They talk about the feelings. We weren't like that. So it's like trying to, like, adjust to that. Be a father, but also, like, be stern, but also be caring. And I think, like, that balance. I think I learned the stern and discipline part from my parents. But I think, like, now I'm, like, learning the empathetic part. So trying to combine those two, taking what's good from what we learned as a parents, because our parents weren't perfect, too.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
If no one told you.
It's like cooking. Yo, life is a game, pretty much.
Yeah.
With no instructions, with missing pieces, and you just got to figure out and win. That's what life is.
That's a good analogy. I haven't said bar yet. If you say bar, that's a good bar. You had a lot of before. What's I guess one thing you know now about raising a kid that you wish you knew when your son was an infant?
I think it's being patient. I'm impatient. So I'll admit it. I think that's the hardest part. But like learning, like when they're crying, like, and they can't communicate, it's hard because it's like, yo, like,
tell me what's wrong.
What do you want? It's either sleep, you eat, or bottle, or like change your diaper.
Yeah.
So just understanding that, like, they're a kid, that's their way of communicating. They don't know how to talk. So their way of communicating is crying. So just trying to figure that out. I think I'll be a little more patient with my son. It was a little harder than him. Now with my daughter, I feel like I'm more, like, I understand a lot more. Not only because she's a girl, but also because I understand what the process of it goes through. Now he's 3 years old, so I understand what you were at 1 and 2 and now 3 years old.
Cool. How long were you at Trenton for?
At Trenton for 3 years and then Newark for 3 years.
Okay. So how was the transition from Trenton to Newark?
So Trenton was like mainly like Black, Hispanic, and then Newark was all Portuguese and Brazilian.
Wow.
So I was like going from Trenton playing basketball with the kids, and now I got to play soccer.
Culture difference.
Yeah, it's different. It's culture difference. But it's cool to see that because, the Portuguese and Brazilian, they're very family-oriented. They're very welcoming. And the Portuguese food is banging. Because I was not from Jersey, so I went to Iron Mountain where all the Portuguese restaurants are.
That's an Inca Cola? Is that Portuguese?
Inca Cola?
Yeah.
Not sure what that is.
Oh, okay. I've only had Inca Cola in like Newark. They sell them in the corner stores.
Oh, yeah. But all the spots are there, so it was cool. That was a cool experience. Different type of kids, but again, kids need the same thing. They want structure. They want somebody that cares.
Cool.
And I think that's like what's important now is like you're missing a lot of those teachers that are leaving because those are the best teachers that are leaving, and now we're seeing the crumbling of our education too.
Did any of the teachers in Trent did they come follow you, or what was the reason you went from Trent to Newark?
More location and just like it was I love Trent, but it was a lot of work. Like we were working like 11-hour days.
Wow.
So we're there like 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:15, and leaving like 5.
Okay.
So I knew like if I want to have a family, like I can't.
It wasn't working with the schedule.
And also like location, I didn't see myself being in that location Trent area. So that's why I moved to Newark a little better.
Cool. So you're there for 3 years. What was the next
higher education
journey?
So cool. I knew like teaching was like getting that point was like I'm ready for the next thing. I know what's to be education, so I was like, all right, what's next? But the good thing, what I did is in the summers, because obviously teachers have off.
Okay.
I was like, what can I do to build my resume that's just not teaching? So if I ever want to jump ship, like I have something else.
Okay.
So that's when I started doing pre-college programs.
Nice.
So I worked at Georgetown for 5 summers.
Okay.
So literally the last day of school, I had my luggage and I'll take a train right from the last day of school to Georgetown, spend 2 months there every summer.
Wow.
I started as like a regular RA and then built myself up to assistant director.
Nice.
And that kind of like helped me get the experience to get my job I have now.
Cool. How'd you get, like, where do you look for a job for a summer program where you're leaving the state?
It was on Indeed.
Okay.
It was crazy. With the charter school, I only had a month off because they have longer school years.
Wow.
So I was like, I need money. What am I going to get a job for a month?
Yeah.
And that job, when I looked, the dates just worked out perfectly. So I was like, going to do it. And it was only like $700 for the summer. It wasn't much.
Okay.
But I saw it as experience.
Yeah.
I was like, I can get experience doing this pre-college, which is mainly high school into transition to college students. So I was like, something different than elementary. So adding an element to my resume. So it wasn't about the money, but it was about experience. I met some great people. Again, the people you meet along the way is the best part of it.
It's that networking.
Yeah, networking.
I feel like a lot of people like, should I go to college or not go to college?
Networking.
And networking is one of the biggest things you learn because we talk all the time. Even if we have a period where we're not talking, once we link back up, it's like, all right, cool.
Exactly.
What you got going on? How can I support you? Like yo, let me hop on the podcast and speak about education. And it's like, everything just falls into place.
And that's why I was like, I regret like not getting involved more in college because like I got dean's list. It was cool, but like.
You could have met way more people.
Yeah, I could have met way more people that led me to. Nobody's asking what your grades are. But I could have met so many people like, hey, I remember Joel from college. Probably could have got a job sooner because I could have connected with more people. So the networking part is huge.
That's cool. So it was a pre-college program. Were these high schoolers going to Georgetown or were they going to colleges all throughout the country?
They were going to college all over the country.
Okay.
So most of them were like going into their 11th grade or 12th grade year. So kind of like getting that college. Because the pre-college is basically for you to get college experience. Pretty much live as a college student for that 1 or 2 weeks that you're there.
Okay.
So you can see like, is this the type of school I want to go to? Do I want a dorm? Do I want to be away from home? You know, is this the type of school I want to be? Does I want to be a private, a large school, small school? So it's a great way for students to kind of like get that experience of kind of figuring out their niche as far as what college they want to go to. But Georgetown was dope because most of my like cohort, you mentor, like you have like your RA for 12 students. I had no American students.
Wow.
So it was cool to have like an Egyptian student, Dominican student, Armenian. Like my whole group was like all from different countries.
Did they speak English or?
They spoke English, yeah. But it's cool. Difficult. I had one from Dubai. They have money.
Wow.
It was like after the programs, like come to my yacht.
That's
like,
crazy.
You're 60 years old, dude. But it was cool to like see different socioeconomic backgrounds too, because you had kids that were rich and you had scholarship students and how they kind of intertwine in college as well.
That's cool. What were like your job descriptions? Was it like an RA like in college, or did you have like special assignments you had to do?
For the counselors, like, you did the RA stuff, but then you also did like you hosted social activities. I was in the classroom with students, kind of like taking attendance, things like that.
Okay.
And you're also like mentoring them as well. So you were like eating lunch with them, building relationships with them, a little bit of both. So I did that for a year, and then I was promoted the next year to assistant director.
Wait, is it like EOF? Do you earn
credit? Like EOF.
Do you earn credits?
Some are on credit, some are non-credit, some are credit.
Oh, okay.
Depending on which program you do.
Cool.
The credit ones are more expensive.
Oh, okay.
And those kids take it serious because it's credit.
Yeah.
Non-credit kids, they want it's different. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then you got promoted the next year?
Yeah, I got promoted.
And what was that position?
Assistant director.
Oh, so one summer.
Yeah, one summer.
So you were assistant directors for the next 4 years?
Yeah, next 4 years, yeah.
Nice.
which is cool because I think what helped me, my director was dope. He always looked out for everybody.
Okay.
I learned a lot from him. He was like my mentor. I'm like, this is I know how to run a program. That was important because he knew how to like
you could find mentors.
be firm with rules, but also build connection with staff.
Okay.
He did all those small things, so I kind of picked that up from him. So when I was assistant director, I kind of like I knew how to build relationships with staff, set those boundaries still, but also understand like I need you to be successful, so I can't just expect like people don't respect you just because of your title.
Yeah.
So you have to build relationships. Like if I trust you, if I respect you, I'll do the job a lot better for you.
Nice.
So I think that was something that I learned, and just building relationships with people, and then also being able to establish. It's easy to run a program and run staff if they like you, respect you.
Cool. So are you still with this program, or you retired?
So that led me to my current job, which I'm director of pre-college program.
Okay.
So I had no higher ed experience.
Okay.
Going into this position. So I was applying to jobs. So I was like, after my second year in Newark, I'm ready for a higher ed. So I was just applying. Again, I was happy in Newark.
Yeah.
But I was like, let me set myself up so when it's time to go, I'll be able to leave. I did get an offer my second year in Newark. Okay. So at another school, it was like an assistant director or something. But something wasn't right when I just denied it. And it was like, you want to be a higher ed so bad? You deny. I was like, it just wasn't right. It wasn't the time. Like I knew it like in my gut, it wasn't the time. Yeah. And then eventually I got director. So I got a higher role with a higher salary because I just waited because I trusted my own instincts.
Nice. What are you doing with this director position?
So basically, same thing. I run the programs full time. So there I was just going to summers and run the program. Now I'm like I have the budget. I run the budget. I do recruitment for faculty, for staff, for students. I work with all the departments from marketing, doing Google ads, like seeing what that looks like. I meet with all the like community organizations, meeting with like staff and faculty. So a lot of moving parts. Everybody thinks it's just a summer, but there's a lot that goes into it from September on, just going through everything, like approving everything. So right now it's like November, so we're getting ready for application. I just went to a conference, so it's like different things like that. Cool. Kind of build it up.
So going from Newark to this position, do you feel as though you were prepared for what the job was, I guess the job descriptions? Or were you like, I don't care what the job descriptions are. Let me apply and see what happens.
Like I had pre-college experience, so I know with staff I was going to be good. Because with the Georgetown one, I was just for the summers. Okay. But now like behind the scenes, I'm doing this full time. So I'm like, the biggest thing that hurt me was like, I didn't know about budgeting. So now I run this $1 million budget without any experience.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, $1 million budget.
You said million with an M, people.
So I'm looking at this like, and it's funny. I tell people I was like, I came from teaching. Yeah. So they're like, Joel, what do you want to do with this budget? I'm like, am I having a pizza party? Like, I don't know. Pizza party. Trying to figure it out. So it was like a slap in the face. Like, all right, this isn't gonna come easy for me. But I think teaching, especially in those difficult schools, like with the rigor, like if you can teach, I feel like you could do a lot of other jobs. Yeah. So it's like it was easy to be like, all right, I'm gonna learn this. I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm still learning. Or I'm gonna use resources that I have at school to ask questions, not being afraid to ask questions. So that was like the biggest thing. I was like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. But everything else I kind of learned along the way. I'm a person, I was like, I want to figure it out and make it the best as possible. So I did a lot of new initiatives and just keep building up from there.
Cool. I'm still stuck on that $1 million budget. Do you have to spend the whole thing? Or is it like you have to spend a percentage?
You want to spend as much as possible because then you lose it next year.
Oh, okay. So is it like at a grant?
No, it's within our university budget. Wow. So if not, they allocate it elsewhere or they take it back to, put it into their own fund. So so I budget for like all the travel we're doing, recruitment, figure out what the tuition is going to be for the summer because that's to cover faculty rates. Faculty make good money, We're a STEM school, so you're looking at anywhere from $150 to $200 an hour to teach, And then you got staff you got to pay, and then you have all the Google ads. You spend over $100K on the Google ads and Instagram ads. So every time you see like you're scrolling, see the ad pack pop up. Those are universities paying for all that. Wow, so it's really cool to see like how to be able to see the back ends of that. See like, all right, how many people clicked on this one and how this got engagement, this didn't. So I got to learn all that, which I think was pretty cool as well.
Cool. When you accepted that position, did they have like a person willing to train you, or this was all on the go learning process?
Kind of on the go, yourself? Yeah. Like right when I started, I just met with different departments and they were like, this is what we need. I'm like, all right, let me figure this out. So I didn't have like a director that was there before me that kind of like guided me. He was already gone. Okay. So I kind of just stepped into the role and figured it out. And then what happened is I got the job, and then a week later, COVID happened. Wow. Yeah. So it transformed our job completely.
Because everything went online.
Which helped me, though, in the long run.
Because it gave you more time to...
Yeah. So what happened is I got the job, and then in March, our program started in June. So COVID happens. They're like, what are we going to do? So, because we do on-campus programs. Yeah. So eventually, I proposed, like, let's make an online program. I got denied like twice. I'm like, I really think we should do this.
Yeah.
So eventually they accepted it. And then we ran a successful online program, which was helpful because like, wow, like this new person came in and basically, I didn't get it approved till May. So I had 2 months to create this whole program online. So I think that was like a blessing in disguise to help me see like leadership, see like, all right, this guy is serious. He can do these things.
Yeah.
So next year, my boss gave me more trust and allowed me to kind of run with it. And actually we did virtual again because everybody thought the 2 weeks wasn't 2 weeks. So we doubled enrollment the next year.
Wow.
So then that kind of helped me. I think that would help me like get a lot of trust and see like a lot of eyes. Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Like, although in my head, no one's doing it, but I had that mindset. I'm going to figure it out.
Cool. With this process, again, you said $1 million budget, knowing how to learn all these things. What was the feeling now, understanding, I could do this?
Yeah, I mean, like you mean like looking back now?
Yeah. Like, because it could be overwhelming. Like, I got to do what? And I got to do this.
Yeah.
And that. Like, I wasn't expecting all this. But what's the feeling now that you could say everything's on coast and you know how to...
Yeah, like we run a great program. That's why like I went to a conference and like my team, I'm like, we got this now. So I present on like all the great things they were doing to share my expertise now. Now I feel like I'm going to see where I can share some insight, what works for other people entering the role. Cool. So I don't want to like, I think you should take people with you when you understand. Yeah. Kind of share your expertise. Don't keep it to yourself. Like I think people see it as competition. No, like share your expertise. Like that's where somebody helped you along the way. So why not?
Cool. So I love how going back to elementary school, Joel, you always seen a target and you went after it, and you weren't scared to get uncomfortable going to the next thing. Yeah. So do you see Mr. Rolon as this is your final stop, or do you see something, your next target, whether it's social or career-wise?
Yeah, I think so. I think like once I start getting like comfortable, it's like it's time.
Nice. Do you feel as though you're almost there? Or?
Almost there, yeah.
Okay.
Looking for the next thing, whether it's with my job or like even if it's a new project, like just something that like I don't like to do the same things over and over because I think that's when you kind of get stagnant, and I think that affects everything else. Okay. Like if you're on your toes and doing something creative and like that's really getting you excited with your job, I think that takes into other things. You start doing exciting things, dates with your wife. Yeah. You start doing exciting things with your kids. So I think like keeping that excitement. I never want any person just like gets up and does the same thing over and over. Like mix it up. I think that makes life fun and makes you want to do certain things as well.
Cool. Going back to elementary, you said identity. Yeah. Was there at a point in time you didn't see, let's say Hispanic males in higher education and you felt as though I wish there was a group like me in these positions, or that's not an impact of when you're going after a target goal?
Yeah, I think elementary I don't think I noticed it as much. I noticed it like when I taught as an elementary teacher, like, all right, like, because I was in a suburban school where all the kids were like white. Yeah. And then now I'm Hispanic. Although I'm light skinned, like I'm Hispanic. So it's like, and then after that, I go to urban school where everybody's Black and Hispanic. So in my head, I'm like, am I making a more impact where I'm looking like them or I'm the first experience for other students? Yeah. So trying to think like, who knows where I made the most impact, but I think that's kind of cool to see that perspective. Like in suburban school, the only Hispanic they knew. Yeah, wow. That was their teacher. Okay. Urban school, so I look like their uncles and their cousins. So I think it was cool to have those different perspectives and experiences. But overall, like, both of them were beneficial.
Cool. You said college. Being at the career you are, is community college a good option for people that are going to college, or should people go into that straight 4-year university?
I think it depends. I mean, financially, community college is a good choice. Okay. But if you want to live away from home, like some people, I think they do community college, but like they're so distracted at home, so it's like hard for them to like focus and go to the next step. If you're a person like that, maybe you just go 4 years, but you got to think the financial thing behind it. That's why I think it's important to like do well in high school, use your resources like counselors, maybe get scholarships and things like that. Do EOF, do a RA program to kind of mitigate the costs. So I think things like that. But I think everybody's path is different. I think you got to think what's best for yourself. Because you're going to have people say, do this, do that. And then you do it. And then you're like, I wasted 2 years and I don't even like it. Or this is not what I wanted. So I think you just got to think what's best for you. And I think at high school, you know what's best for yourself. Yeah. Like we can't underestimate, even kids like elementary, they knew what they were smart enough to understand certain things. Yeah. So I think it's respecting like yourself. I think it's respecting, like respect yourself that you know what you're going to do best. Your own intuition.
Another, let's say, person in your career field that's an assistant director and wants to do that director position, but let's say they could be overwhelmed with the job responsibilities. What's a tip you would give to them to, I guess, reassure that you should apply for that director position?
Yeah, I think we all been in jobs where like we knew somebody was like, you should not be in this role. I can do that better than you.
Yeah.
With anything. You know, like even when you meet a girl that you wanted and you see the douches where you're like, I could be better than you. So I think just do it. Like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Like, you get that role and you adjust. Like with anything, like fatherhood, I was never a father before.
Yeah.
I'm still faking it until I make it. But you just do it. Even with like relationships, like if you never been in love, like it's a scary thing. Love for a man is scary.
Yeah.
For a woman, it's exciting.
Yeah.
For a man, it's scary because you're thinking of all those things like, how am I going to support this woman? Like now it's a different perspective. When you're just like mingling and dingling with people, like you don't think about it. When you meet somebody you love, like it's a stress thing for a man. So I think anything, you just got to do it.
Nice.
And what do you have to lose? Like I'd rather live my life of at least I try than what ifs.
Cool.
Can't live with what ifs. You can't.
Yeah.
You only get one life.
Yep. And then I guess it's going to be like a honesty to wrap it up question. What are things that as a leader or director that you think you can improve on?
I think just a lot of times I try to do things on my own. So even my staff time, and I try to accept feedback from my staff. I'm not afraid to like accept like this is my role, but I don't care about the titles, you know?
Okay.
So they told me like, you need to like trust us more. I was like, damn, I thought I was, but you're right.
Yeah.
So I think just like trusting other people to do the job, because I have a vision. When I have a vision of something, I just want to like do it myself. But then you come overwhelmed and you're taking too much time. So I think just allowing myself to trust others because they have different perspective. They have something to offer as well. So just learning to trust other people in my role.
Cool. So Joel, let's say high school or a college student has a question they want to reach out to you. What's that email address?
So it'll be my first name and last name, Joel Rolon, JoelRolon 89 @gmail.com.
Cool.
And I'm always willing to look out, give advice.
Awesome. And just let everybody know, the point of the podcast is to build a community of people where the decisions you want to make shouldn't scare you. Reach out to anybody on the podcast, especially Joel when it comes to higher education. My brother, I appreciate you for making the trip down and being on the podcast.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Cool.